Go live.
We are live. CMP episode 3. We really sorry we weren't able to do this. A lot of have been going on in our lives in college.
Yeah,
I know I've had a bunch of episodes recently. You're going to keep on seeing the GPA episodes and the puck drops here. But currently, we talk about CMP, which we talk about the 4 main sports in North America: baseball and football, basketball, and hockey. And first, we're going to go to baseball and your Yankees.
Yes, talk about your Yankees. 9-1 in their last 10 games. What I like to see, playing with their minor league lineup out there. Pete, I got to tell you, Aaron Boone is doing a pretty good job right now, even though I don't like some of the decisions he's making. 9-1 with this team. Got to give him credit where credit's due. I'm going to bash them when they lose. Got to give them credit when they win.
Right. 9-1. Good for a team that's supposed to be a World Series contender. You take a look at their bats.
And who they're missing.
And
2 major injuries yesterday to the Yankees. Giovanni Urshela is going for an MRI on his hand, x-rays on his hand. It looks like he might have broken it. And DJ LeMahieu going for an MRI on his knee.
LeMahieu has been one of their good young players that they've used in the last year or so. A good hitter. He's a good player, but we'll see how the MRI goes for them. The pitching seems to be
it's there.
Not of a concern.
The bullpen is the worst part of the team right now, and it was supposed to be the best part. But you know, we're winning. 17-11. I'm not going to complain. This is a time you're not even in May yet. Going on to the West Coast.
Still on the West Coast.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. When we went on this West Coast trip, I was like, all right, if we win 3 games with this lineup, with this team, I'm happy. We haven't lost yet. Well, I'm sorry, we lost 1 game, and it was to the Angels. We were up 4-0.
Right.
With our ace on the mound right now, Tanaka.
Yes.
But you know.
Who's pitching tonight?
I think it's Tanaka. No, I'm sorry. The Yankees don't play tonight. They play tomorrow in Arizona.
Have my New York Mets, who are currently, I believe, playing with.
Struggling.
Cano
got popped in the hand yesterday.
Consistency. Too. They are a more consistent team than last year. They may not make the playoffs, which is fine. But last year they had stretches where they couldn't hit or could hit. They were finding ways to win and finding ways to lose at different points of the year, and the fact that the Mets are just more consistent and they're not having mega losing streaks is good for the team right now. We'll see what happens at the midway of the year. They have lost 2 close games to the Milwaukee Brewers, but they won their last game last night against Milwaukee, and Milwaukee would say being a title contender, so it's a good thing to win the games that you want to win. And they have a 3-game series against the Cincinnati Reds starting tonight. Pitching, right? You got to win those. A pitching matchup for the Reds and the Mets.
Those are games that
the Reds are going to start their young pitcher Tanner Roark, and the Mets to start a maligned starter Zach Wheeler. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be a good pitching matchup there.
Yeah, and tomorrow I think the Mets lose. Luis Castillo's been their young stud. He's supposed to be the top guy right there. And he's going against Jason Vargas. So I'm going to have to – I think, Yasiel Puig and Joey Votto, I think they get a hold of Vargas tomorrow.
Votto? I don't believe Votto's on that team. On Cincinnati. I don't believe Votto's on the team.
Yes, he is.
Wow. Tenure. Yes, we'll go through the games as we always go through. We always try to go through the games. Cardinals and Nationals.
There's something I want to get to really quick.
Oh, okay.
Game 7, Denver versus San Antonio.
Yes. Oh, very interesting.
Something's got to be up in
We'll discuss that when we go right to. We'll go right to the NBA after that. We'll discuss the issue at the end of that game
with it looking like it was fixed, with the spread in the game being 6 points and them not fouling. I don't know. Something just don't seem right there to me.
We can go over this.
What is your opinion? What is your opinion on the draft?
We'll get there when we get there. Right now, we're still on baseball. Cardinals and Nationals. I like the Nationals in this game. Good. It's good batting. It's a good batting. You look at the matchups. Pitching's not great though. Do you have the pitchers for each game?
The pitchers for tonight?
Yes, for tonight's matchups. We have a bunch of games tonight.
Yeah, for tonight, it's Michael Wacha versus Patrick Corbin. Ooh. I'm going to go with the Nationals.
I go with the Nationals, too. Wacha's a good pitcher, but he's been inconsistent.
The next game is going to be
the Oakland and Boston.
The Red Sox.
Last time,
Frankie Montas versus Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah, I like Oakland in this one. I like Oakland in this one in Fenway. It's going to be interesting, though.
think
There's going to be a
Boston
time where
bounces back
Boston
after a
comes
tough
back.
series.
Boston will come back, and they will play better this
I
season.
don't think
But
that time will ever
the
come.
time is when will it be?
I don't
And that
think
is
it
the
will
big
be.
time. You talk about the Mets and the Reds. We talk Rourke pitching against Wheeler. I like the Mets with this, but I think it's less going to be their pitching that'll win it and more their bats. I think their bats are going to find ways on Rourke and win. San Diego, Atlanta. This is a game there. Atlanta would probably
Atlanta wins that
win.
one.
And the pitching matchup is who?
Soraka versus Mark Yankovic, and I'm gonna go with
Sirocco.
I'm gonna go with
Atlanta.
the Braves.
Yeah. Here's a really intriguing matchup that I like for today.
Verlander versus Jake Odorizzi. I'm gonna have to go with that.
Colorado. No, I'm not there. Colorado, Milwaukee.
Freeland versus Zach Davies. I'm gonna have to go with Zach Davies.
Yeah, for the Milwaukee Brewers, right?
Yeah.
I like this matchup a lot. This is going to be a fun series. Yes. Minnesota, Houston.
I'm gonna go with Houston.
I actually like
Verlander
Minnesota.
versus Odorizzi.
I like Minnesota. I think they're going to get an upset.
I don't know. Verlander's 4-0 this year. Houston's the best.
Yeah,
team
but
in
no,
baseball,
yeah.
or one of the best teams. in
Right,
baseball.
but teams fall at times. I'm not saying they're a bad team. They're a great team. I thought that I didn't pick any World Series champions this year, but I said that they were, in my opinion, the most dangerous team. But teams can fall at the drop of the dime. We've seen it happen. So I think I see them just losing that one game. Baltimore and Chicago. Chicago, because Baltimore's not very good with the White Sox. But we'll see. Not too much of an important game yet. We'll see how these two teams do. Tampa and Kansas City. This should be a close game, but it should be a game that Tampa should win. They're a really good team, and they're playing a not very good Kansas City Royal team. And the last nightcap, one of the great rivalries in sports on the Bay, LA and San Francisco. LA is a team that's hunting for that World Series. They've been in the playoffs a lot. And you're looking at the San Francisco Giants, who are a maligned rebuilding squad. I would take the Dodgers in this one. You know who's pitching?
Yeah, Kenta Maeda versus Jeff Samaja.
Samaja gets the edge as a pitcher, but I still think the Dodgers are going to win. So, yes, the NBA. We'll talk about. We'll give you the floor about the San Antonio Spurs and the game they had, Game 7 in Denver, in the Pepsi Center.
Well, yeah, I mean, Pete, you just can't deny the facts that happen out there. I mean, it's a 4-point game. The spread is 6. LaMarcus Aldridge has been there before. He's done that. DeMar DeRozan has been there before. He's done that. There's a 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, and you're down 4. Why are you not fouling with 25 seconds left? I don't understand.
It seems strange.
When you see Greg Popovich clearly from the sideline telling him to foul, and they're just not fouling. It's that you see him yelling to foul.
That's not the.
And Aldridge just stood there.
That's not the referees. That's the players. That's
the players fixing the games.
The players fixing
the games.
The players get more contract. The contract is higher if they just
exactly. But you realize that it's an enterprise. They're run by the NBA.
So you think somebody went to the players? I think the coach would have known about it. I don't believe in that.
Probably would have known. Listen, these are great actors. They're insane. I wanted to actually bring something up. Bill Belichick's the greatest coach of all time, right? Or one of the greatest coaches
I don't
of all
believe
time.
he's the greatest coach.
2007 in the
Spygate. Oh no,
2007 in the Super Bowl versus the Giants, right? 7-3 in the third quarter. Okay. It's 4th and 11 from the Giant 31. He decides to go for it instead of kicking the field goal. On 4th and 11, he doesn't get it. Okay. What was the final score in that game?
17-14.
What was the differential?
3 points. Field goal, but the Patriots could have still lost in overtime.
3 points, correct? If he kicks that field goal, instead of going for it on a 4th and 11, he has the best field goal kicker of all time.
Gostkowski.
Vinatieri.
Vinatieri was on the Patriots then. Chester Fax, he was on the Patriots.
In 2007.
No, he wasn't.
Look it up.
He was on the Colts. And Vinatieri was not the kicker then.
I know it was one of the top kickers.
It was they go by position.
I don't think Gostkowski. Really, Gostkowski's running the even worse because Gostkowski is one of the best kickers of all time.
He is one of the better, but he was a young player back then.
And
he was a really young player.
And I want to know how many he missed from 48.
Those 2 instances, although he's played not very good in the Super Bowl history. Gostkowski is not. He's missed a bunch of kicks in the Super Bowl.
But the point is, 4th and 11.
That's
go for
less
it.
of a betting issue. That's more of an egotistics.
No, not for betting purposes. I don't think sports is fixed for betting purposes. Certain college games are, yeah, I think that. But it's all entertainment. You can't tell me that in the Shark game, that was one of the worst.
We'll go over that. We will go over that at the end.
Major penalties. I don't know much about hockey.
Issue with Eakin. We will definitely go over that.
But I think that the NHL wanted the Sharks in the second round of the playoffs. That's what I think. That's what they wanted.
I don't believe
the ratings would have been. I mean, we see it all the time.
The Vegas would have higher ratings than San Jose.
Yes, but
Vegas.
Are the Sharks owned by a team? I mean, by an owner? I don't know.
Yeah, every team is an owner.
It's not true. Back in, I forgot what year it was, but some team didn't have. I think it was the Stars.
Yeah, they're owned by.
The Stars didn't have an owner.
Platinum.
No, there was one NHL team that didn't have an owner. They did really good in the regular season. As soon as they got to the playoffs, they were bought and they got swept in the first round.
I know who you're talking about. In Quebec in '95, but that's a whole other issue. I'll explain to you about. No. That's not.
I'm telling you.
When we start talking about hockey for a little bit at the end, I'll explain to you the whole Quebec situation. I know exactly what happened there because there's more to the story than you know. Anyway, with the NBA, yeah, I could kind of see the ratings, but I also think it's egotistics. So egotistical, the coach. Why do you think Pete Carroll said, let's throw? Because he wants Russell Wilson to get the Super Bowl MVP and Russell Wilson to be not fixed.
I'm telling you.
I don't believe it. I don't
believe it either. But what I'm saying is you can't deny the facts that they're putting out there.
It's been fixed before, but I don't think it's fixed at as common rate as people expect.
I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to billions of dollars. I don't believe in it.
I kind of see that, but
I don't believe in it.
Okay, so NBA we just saw Celtics. This is
Celtics
physically
Celtics are taking
the year of Boston.
Celtics, I know
because
they might have a four. The Bruins might win.
They could.
The Celtics might win, but I don't think the Celtics are going to win.
That's like
I don't think the Celtics come out of the East. I think Toronto does. I think Toronto's the best team in the East. I think Toronto.
I initially said at the beginning of the playoffs, I thought Toronto was the best team. But the Boston, yes, they're doing very good against Milwaukee. I probably think the Celtics will.
But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised though if the Sixers do come back from. Well, it's really only a one.
I think Toronto wins that series.
But don't be surprised if the Celtics win. The Celtics have not the Celtics. The Sixers have the most talent in the Eastern Conference. That's factual.
Milwaukee.
No. The team that has the best chance at beating the Warriors in the finals is the Sixers. That's it.
Yeah, Bucks have length though, but they didn't play.
But the Warriors aren't getting to the finals.
No. Okay. Warriors are playing Houston.
Houston will win that series.
I probably agree with that. That actually does look right. And Denver's not beating Portland. Portland's going to beat the Denver.
I think Portland will beat them.
Portland's going to beat the Denver Nuggets. This is finally where they break through. So yeah, I would have Trailblazers. I agree with you. Trailblazers, Rockets, Celtics, Raptors. Or the Raptors winning the East, and then the Raptors. Yeah, the Raptors are the second best team record in the NBA. So they would have. Then I would have the Raptors probably playing Houston, and I don't know who would win that series.
The Raptors playing Houston. I would probably. That'd be a great series. That would go 7. It would be. That would be really good for the NBA.
It would be a good series.
That would be very good for the NBA.
Right. So look at that. Definitely good playoff games going on. Playoff series. Yeah, we'll go to the NFL now, right? NFL draft.
Yep.
Okay.
Your team messed up.
I really don't think so.
Team messed up.
Before everybody freaks out.
The only person,
I'm a Giants fan.
That does not think that.
I believe this. I believe we've seen busts from areas like that, quarterbacks like that in the system. We've seen absolute busts like a.
But what you're about to say doesn't matter. Because let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. What you're about to say does not matter. Because he would have been there at 17. So you could have had.
Really? You don't know that.
Your next.
You don't know that.
Taylor.
What if Washington?
Washington was not taking them. It's that simple.
And I don't know if Ed Oliver was gonna be the next Lawrence Taylor.
No, Josh Allen. Josh Allen was supposed to go in the top 3. The Raiders are bums.
The Raiders made
a huge mistake by taking the kid from Clemson. That kid would have been there in the second round. Daniel Jones might even have been there in the second round.
I really think the Giants felt that they thought this was their guy. And they wanted to say,
that.
I understand 17. I said 17. But there's a point where you're a general manager and you're like, you know what? Yes, there's this guy here. Yes, we want this guy.
And you know what? I respect
this guy's going to fit my system.
Then you know
and I'm going to roll the dice. And I like that. I like a guy that does that.
Then you know what? I respect that.
I'd rather wait. And if it's 3 years, everybody says, "Boo, we told you so. It's a bust. It's a bust." And Gettleman's gone. Fine.
But
then there you go.
Not fine. That's the 6th pick in the draft. You have a generational type defender that fell to you. He wasn't supposed to fall. He fell to you. Josh Allen was supposed to be a top 3 pick. Him or Bosa was supposed to go number 2.
I would say both of those guys are good, but I do definitely think I like the picks, and it would be nice for the Giants to get both.
You know what you should have done?
But Allen does fit the Jaguar system.
Imagine your defense looking like Dexter Lawrence, having Dexter Lawrence and Josh Allen, right? So then you have those 2 guys. So let's say you don't take a quarterback this year. Okay. Eli plays it out. You have Dexter Lawrence and you have Josh Allen, right? With the 6th and the 17th pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Next year, you could take Tua, or you can even wait. Take a stud defender next year, and then get the kid from Clemson, Lawrence, coming out of the draft.
Lawrence isn't eligible next year.
Not next year. Because
I don't think Eli's near at the end of his career.
Exactly. Revamp your defense. Have Josh Allen, Dexter Lawrence, defenders in next year's draft.
We'll see how it is, because I don't think the Giants are going to be very good this year. But
I don't think so either.
I don't think that's a bad thing specifically.
It's an awful thing as long as Gettleman is your GM.
Well, when he drafted Saquon Barkley, that was going to be a homer. Everybody knew they were going to draft him.
But exactly. But he doesn't.
Not everybody.
You know what? If Daniel Jones turns out to be great, God bless.
They said it's a pick that you got to see.
But you realize he throws 6 yards down the field, right? That's it. That's what he averages.
It's a different system. And he's more of a pro-style quarterback. He's more pro-ready than Haskins.
I don't think the Giants should have taken a quarterback this year.
I like that. So now we'll go to your Steelers, who made a really good choice.
Yes, sir. Devin Bush.
He's a good linebacker. They needed a linebacker because no one knows the health condition still of Brian Shazier.
And he's the next Shazier. He's super fast. One of the fastest. Like the fastest.
He may be better.
He could. I don't know. If he turns out to be better, Steelers really did a good job there.
He's an athletic player, and you didn't give. And what was interesting is you look at the Giants. What the Giants gave up to get Baker, the corner from Georgia.
Yeah.
The Steelers did not give up much to jump up to number 10.
Nope.
It was not that much of a leap for a
second rounder and a third rounder.
It was not too much.
But I respect, because the Steelers normally don't make moves. The Steelers do not make moves at all. And they like this kid. They took a risk.
And that's something they need. They need that in secondary, I really believe.
Yes. And they addressed it in the draft a little bit with the corner they got in the 3rd round. But you know what? I really like the running back they drafted from Kentucky.
Yeah. Benny Snell is incredible. My goodness. He may be the best running back in the draft. I think he's up there. I really think he has a point in contention to be the. I remember, as you may know or not know, I am a Texas A&M Aggies fan, big fan. I watched the game against Kentucky that they won. I believe it was 10-7 in overtime, and the Kentucky Wildcats lost that game. But Benny Snell, when the quarterback wasn't doing well, and Josh Allen was having issues against our vaunted O-line. So what would happen is Benny Snell was taking over that game. I believe he got the only touchdown for the Wildcats that game. Insane player. 14-7 actually the final score of that game. That was actually, since we're on the topic of the college football, I'll actually bring that game up. That was in, I believe, November. I know you didn't watch it, so
I might have money on
get to see this game. 2014. That's right. 2014. Benny Snell.
Oh, I did have money on it.
Actually, no touchdowns, but 13 carries for 60 yards. And the stat line doesn't look great, but that's because the defense was really rushing up the line. And if you have only 13 carries, and the average was 5 yards, 5 yards average. He played well, and he played well this whole year. He a fast running back. I like him. The full stats for the season.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what he did.
Benny's
21. Okay, so he's rather young.
Yeah, that's a good. That's when Giants drafted Saquon, he was 21, right? So that's right. You're getting a running back that age. That's a good age because he's not going to – I don't believe he's going to be asked to take the starting role. He can steal it. He can steal it, but he won't be asked to. That's going to go to –
those are some very good numbers.
Yeah, if you look at showing you –
He needs to work on his receiving.
1,091 yards, 100 in 2018.
He had 16 touchdowns and 1,500 yards.
Right.
You know, I'll take it.
16
yards
touchdowns.
per carry is what I like to look at.
They're a running back passing offense, and he'll learn that. But yeah, it was a good pickup for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Deontay Johnson, their rookie wide receiver from Temple. I also like him. He's kind of quick, really fast.
I like what they did. I know Steelers fan is going to not like this, but I believe that the winners of the draft were the New England Patriots. This is the way to update offense. But anybody who's Patriot haters, remember that when they do incredible in their offseason and in their draft, they usually don't win the Super Bowl.
Why?
They just don't. I don't know if it's the egotistics, the mojo, if it's just that's the way it is. They usually don't. They had one of the greatest off seasons in Patriot team history, 2007. They didn't win the Super Bowl that year. 2 years ago, they were told Brandon Cooks. They got a lot of guys. They were supposed to be like that Patriot team, and like that Patriot team, they lost the Super Bowl.
Yep.
When they're under the radar and they sign older guys to low contracts, that's when they win championships. So this is going to be interesting. But I love that they got N'Keal Harry.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might be up there, one of the better players in this draft.
I would have to agree.
So, a great player. We'll quickly ascend. We go for the NFL draft. Schedule's out for the NFL, right?
Yes.
Some of that. So
Steelers
that's
have
interesting.
a very tough schedule.
Giants have some tough games, but they're not even supposed to win most of them. So we'll see what happens in the degree of that. What I don't want the Giants doing is to end up winning a bunch of those games and going 7-9, 8-8, where you don't do much. Although 7-9, 8-8 in our division usually wins it, and it's really not a good quarterback division if you think about it. Old Eli Manning slash Daniel Jones slash
bum up O-line, bum defense.
No, I'm just going by
GM.
quarterbacks. Dak Prescott, injured Carson Wentz, and whoever starts in Washington. It's that division could go to anybody, and we'll see who it ends up going to. It'll go to either them or Dallas. It probably will go to Philadelphia.
Maybe Dallas.
You're probably right. It'll likely go to Philadelphia.
It'll go between Dallas and
Philadelphia. Right. But quickly, the AFC North to me, besides the Bengals, they're not going to be very good. But
Steelers
the
win that
AFC
division,
North,
and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Steelers fan.
Wide open.
Not saying that just because I'm a Steelers fan. I really believe.
Do you agree that the Browns will be good this year? I think they will. I really think they will.
I think they will be too, but I think it always looks good on paper.
Yeah, I think they'll miss the playoffs for like one game. I don't know if the Steelers will win the division, but it's wide open.
The Steelers will make the playoffs. That I can guarantee you.
That probably will happen.
The Steelers.
I would probably agree with that, but I don't know if
Ben Roethlisberger is going to come different this year.
We'll see how it goes with less weapons.
Defense. You got Mark Barron, Steven Nelson, Devin Bush, the corner in the draft.
It'll be fun to watch.
Definitely for sure.
We will briefly touch on this. What I usually talk here. You mentioned something about the San Jose game. I was going to go off. So in the third period, we'll talk about the Sharks-Vegas game. I know Vegas fans really are sick of this, but there was an issue with that game of 3-0. This is a callback to me of game 7 in 2010 when the Philadelphia Flyers played the Boston Bruins. There was an issue with the penalties where it was up 3-0 and they gave up 3 in the third, 1 in the first period, 1 in the second period, and 2 in the third period. Obviously, a totally different series, but there was an issue where shortly after Vegas had scored a third goal, there was a face-off in the Shark zone won by Joe Pavelski. And as Joe Pavelski reached across with the stick on the puck, he was cross-checked on the back by Cody Eakin, and it was a stupid play. It was a dumb play by Cody Eakin, and the refs immediately were about to send him to the box. Meanwhile, the NBC cameras pan down, and you see Pavelski, who is the captain of the San Jose Sharks, kneeling down on the ice, covering his face, motionless body, and pool of blood. Very similar to a scenario back in that 10-year where Chara decked Max Pacioretty, and there was a similar issue with a motionless body and a pool of blood. So, again, you have caution, and immediately when the linesmen saw that, they took Eakin out, and they put him in the box for a 5-minute major. This is an interesting point of 5-minute majors. You can have 5-minute majors which are just a major penalty, and because of the severity of the major, once the goal is scored, the guy leaves the box, but they are also, you'll find in the playoffs, and then there was a game 2 years ago with the Islanders and the Red Wings, where there was it's called a carryover penalty. So what that will mean is the penalty ends when the time is over, not when you score. So you can score as many times and the man advantage. So they had a carryover penalty, which even though you are down 3 goals, the penalty will carry over, and they read a carryover penalty. And important for fans to realize about this game was that San Jose didn't lose a guy like Timo Meyer or Evander Kane or a role player, a key player. They lost their captain. So when they lost their captain, there was audio of Kevin LeBanc, Logan Couture, especially Logan Couture, and Jumbo Joe Thornton talking about, this is our captain, we're going to fight for him. And who scores the first goal? A tipped shot by Logan Couture. It's a Timo Myers. And then Vlasic gets one. And then Couture gets one. And then Burns gets one. And then Couture again. And you get, now it's 4 unanswered goals, and now the penalty is over. And it begins to be like that. You have to see, is it a penalty? Is it not? Is it a penalty? It should have been a penalty, but I don't know if it should have been carry over. Or maybe make it, maybe should be stretched to a point where, I don't think the NHL is allowed to do this.
The NHL came out and apologized.
They did come out and apologize to Vegas. Gerard Gallant was not happy. But I feel like what they should have done was almost had it as a 4-on, almost like a 5-on-3. It wasn't a 5-on-3; it would be a 5-on-3 penalty. So instead of a carryover, what that would mean is like a 5-on-3, you get 2 goals, 2 guys. So once it was 3-2, they Eakin should have been left out. Should have opened the box. It shouldn't have been just a regular penalty because, again, motionless body, pool of blood. And then obviously, interesting thing of that game was that it could have ended there, but Vegas ends up actually scoring a goal with 27 seconds left,
and 10 minutes
and it goes down, and you have Derek Engeland and Braden McNabb who were on there. They were the most tenured defensemen on the ice for a long time, and then you have the youngest player on the team, Barclay Goodrow, comes in, throws across, and gets Fleury to open up and ends the series there. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Sharks fans, if you know more recently, you saw a great game last night against the Colorado Avalanche where you're down 3-1, and then you scored a goal to make it 3-2. Brent Burns from a power play. And then, of course, the empty netter. But then you scored another one with 10 seconds left, constantly in, but series is tied there. Series is tied in Boston. Series is tied in Dallas, and we're getting Game 3 tonight. CJ and I both believe that the Stars are going to win tonight and take a 2-1 series lead. A rematch of the second-round series in 2016 when the Blues had home ice advantage. Stars had home ice advantage. This time the Blues have home ice advantage. And the only 2-0 series lead against the local Islanders. The Carolina Hurricanes have a 2-0 series lead, and they open their game 3 in Raleigh on Wednesday night against the Islanders. And the Islanders, that's an issue. You need to win Game 3 because if you lose Game 3, you're in an 0-3 hole, and the Islanders have not come back from an 0-3 hole since 1977.
Yeah,
it's been a long time ago. So, there's some good games going on tonight. And we got baseball. We got a few basketball playoff games, and we have, of course, the Stanley Cup playoff game tonight. So there'll be that. I hope you guys watched. Of course, the like button, sub, all that. We like views. You like any other views after this. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace out and CMP out.